Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another RTI. Sorry, this is a late one, but yeah, let's get started. Anyway, so today's theme, or this week's theme, is since you guys have the Student Council scavenger hunts, I figure what person enjoys scavenger hunts more than a pirate? So this week's, or at least today's RTI theme is going to be pirates. I'm going to be doing some pirates from film. That's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and make sure we have all of our supplies that we need. We need a drawing material, paper of some sort. You're going to need your eraser. You're going to need your pencil. Okay? Alright, so let's start off with our first pirate. So just follow along if you need to. Pause it, rewind it, whatever you need to. Alright, other than that, this is just going to be some quick drawings with me explaining what I'm doing. And like I said, if you need the help, just pause it, rewind it, and use this YouTube app as it suits you. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start off first by making the head, and since this is a cartoon drawing, we're gonna make it much bigger than it should be. So I'm gonna start off with rounded square. So that's my first shape. Now I'm gonna draw the body and the neck. Should be coming out of the middle of the head here, and I'm just going to draw a curved line coming down. This represents the neck and the spine, and across the bottom of the neck I'm just going to put a small diagonal line representing the shoulders. So it's going to kind of look like a stick figure. Okay, on the bottom of my spine I'm going to create the hips using another line, and from here I'm going to draw a leg sticking down and a leg sticking out. And then I'm going to draw the calf. The calf is going to also come down, and this one is also going to come down at the same angle as this first calf. Okay, for the arms, I am going to draw a line coming down for the upper arm and coming back for the forearm. If you want to put a little line next to your joints to let you know where the elbow and the knees are, that's fine. This arm is going to stick out forward. It's going to have a little joint there, and the arm is going to come back up. Kind of looks like it's running, like this stick figure is running. Alright, so now we're going to add some shapes to our stick figure to help us to get a better idea of what we're looking at. Alright, so starting with the shoulders, I'm just going to build above those shoulders, make it rounded, triangular shape, coming back down to the stomach, and coming back up to the other shoulder. And then I'm going to draw a small square by the waist. That's going to represent the stomach, chest, stomach. Alright, then I'm going to put a trapezoid up at the shoulder, coming down to the elbow. And this is going to be the upper arm, trapezoid shape. Alright, then I'm going to put a parallelogram coming down from the other arm. I'm not going to go all the way to the elbow because the elbow is going to be blocked by the forearm. Speaking of forearm, on the bottom of this trapezoid, we're going to put a smooth triangle. Smooth triangle. And on this arm, we're going to put a big old oval. Okay, for the legs, we're going to go with an oval coming from the knee and going up to the middle of our rectangle. Do the same for the other leg. Have an oval coming from the knee, going to the rectangle. And sticking out the bottom of the knee, we're going to have a big trapezoid. We have another big trapezoid sticking out from the other knee. Then we're going to have a circle going right over this smooth triangle here. Put another circle on the top of the oval. These two circles are actually going to be the hands, or at least the palm anyway. Okay, triangle coming down from the trapezoid. That's going to represent the calf and the shin. Same for this one. Two triangles coming down. This foot is going to be a triangle sticking out from that other triangle. And this is the front of the foot. But this one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to put a triangle on the back as well as a triangle on the front. And then we're going to draw two lines coming down for the neck to connect to the triangle up here. Once you guys have all these shapes blocked in after the skeleton, we're going to take our eraser and we're going to start doing some magic erasing, connecting all our shapes together. Getting rid of the skeleton because the skeleton was only there for our reference. We're going to keep some of the lines inside the bottom part of our legs because that's part of the details there in the boots, because the pirates wear boots since they walk in water. Okay. All right, so I'm going to leave this trapezoid complete. All right, so now that we have all of this, we're going to add one more shape now that we made this less confusing, and it's going to be kind of a big boomerang shape. So coming out of the top of his fist diagonally, we're going to draw a line coming across up to his other arm, and then we're going to have a boomerang shape like a triangle come out and then back up to the top. Okay, now we can erase all the information that's inside of this boomerang shape. Because that's his sword. Okay, the back of the sword is coming out from the back of his hand, so we don't have to worry about that. But there is a small guard that goes in front of his hand, so we're just going to make a small banana sticking out from the top of the sword here. And we can take our eraser and erase the line that's connecting that. Now we've got that guard that protects your hand from getting cut. Okay, now we're going to draw a line going across the fist. So we're also going to erase the line above the hand there. Just like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a couple bumps sticking out from the bottom of the blade. It's going to come up and out. Same for this one. Comes from the blade here. It's going to come up and out. And there you have the sword. Okay. Alright, so his hand is holding that. That's done. Alright. So what we're going to do here is on top of this triangle area, all we're going to do is you're going to draw a couple of lines extending up towards the bicep. And that gives the illusion that this cloth is folding when the person is creasing their or bending their arm. It looks like it's creasing the cloth on top of their arm. So that's the illusion there. Okay. Then it's going to come up to the arm. When it comes to the underarm, we're going to do those same lines to make it look like it's creasing in the pit. The line comes down from under the arm where the triangle was, and it's going to crease some more because that's where the body is turning. Coming out from the neck, we're going to have a triangle shooting down. Erase the line going across from the shoulders. And then connecting the triangle here, we're going to have these X lines. And that represents a string that holds the shirt together. Then we're going to need a collar. So the collar is going to come from the triangle here. You're going to draw a line going down and back up. It's going to be like a parallelogram. Coming up like that. And you're going to do a small triangle on this side. Represents the collar on the opposite side. Alright, so now we're going to draw the thumb sticking out from the bottom left of our palm here. And we're just going to put a bump. And then sticking out from the top, we're going to put a finger, pointer finger, sticking up. Okay, second finger. Let's erase that line, connecting the fingers. Second finger is going to have a circle on the top, and it's going to come down. So it looks like the finger is bending towards us, like that. And of course the next finger is going to be bent even more, so all it's going to be is a circle, a pretty large circle. And then the pinky is going to be an even smaller circle. Put some detail on top of your hand. I usually put this number 7 here that we have on our hands from the creases whenever we fold our hands. I'm just going to add those lines right there on top of his gloves. Same thing here, add some lines from the creasing of the shirt. Okay, the shirt comes up and towards the sword. And right underneath it, we're going to put a line to make a belt. And then that's going to connect to the hip. You're not going to see very much of that information. Okay, I'm just going to draw this line connecting this leg to the other leg to show his pants. And then we're going to go ahead and erase the line that's coming up from the original circle that we had. Okay. Alright, so we have most of it done. Now we're going to go to the face. Well, let's finish the feet real quick. Okay, so the feet are going to get circles drawn from the trapezoid, and it's going to go down the face because apparently there are buttons holding this boot together. So we're just going to put a bunch of circles, and then right next to the circles we're going to put 2 lines side by side to make it look like that's the details that are holding everything together. Okay. Alright, so let's finish up with the head. Alright, so as you guys know, we should have a cross on top of the face to show us where our features should go. It helps us with proportion. And because this is a cartoon drawing, our proportions are going to be extremely exaggerated. So we're not going to worry too much about it. If you guys mess this part up or if you think it looks messy, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. But what we want to do is we want to draw a mask on this guy. So our mask is going to come from the side where the cross starts, and it's going to come towards the middle of the face, and then it's going to go diagonal, slightly diagonally up, and then it's going to come back down towards the nose, and then it's going to come up again drastically, like it's going to go way higher than the first line, and then it's going to come back down towards the edge of the head the other way. And then the bottom of the mask is going to have slightly going down, the line going down towards the nose. It's going to come back up, and then it's going to come back down after the nose bridge, and then it's going to come back up towards the side of the face, just like that. Okay, right from underneath the mask on this side, we're going to put a backward C that represents the ear. Put the letter Y inside the ear to make it look like it has the creases inside. Okay, on the bottom where the line is, we're just going to put a small trapezoid that represents the chin of our character. Now we can erase the line that's making the smooth square rectangle, because his chin is there. Comes up. Make that defined a little bit more. Alright, so let's do a couple of lines coming in from the side of the mask there. That gives it the crease in the cloth. Alright, so for this eye, we are going to do a semicircle. Nice big semicircle. And for this eye, we're going to do kind of like a trapezoid, or let's say even a like a pizza slice, like that. Alright, so now I can erase the line that's going through the mask and the eyes, and also going through the forehead. That's done. Okay, so inside the eye, we're going to draw one circle that's being blocked by the top of the eyelid, and then one that's right in the center. This guy means business. He's got that crazy eye going on. Alright, so the nose will go in the middle between the chin and the middle of the eye. We're going to go ahead and draw an oval, a very skinny oval, and that's going to represent the shadow underneath the nose. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a V in the middle of the nose, just like that. And now we can take our eraser, erase the top of that oval that we just put there, and erase the line that's coming down. We can even erase the line that's in front of the mouth. So now we have the point of the nose. On either side of the nose we can draw a couple of rounded lines to tell us that that's the wings. Coming up from the wings, we can make it come up towards the mask to give it the bridge. The mouth, we're going to put the mouth underneath this eye here, and it's going to look like the letter B, or a number 6. And right above his lips, we're going to put a couple of teardrops, and they're going to be dripping towards each other. Just like that. Behind his ear, we're going to put a bunch of fuzzy lines coming down behind his neck. On the top of his head, he's wearing a bandana. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the shape that we drew here for the head. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a couple of squares sticking off diagonally, kind of like ears, sticking off the side of the bandana. And then I'm going to darken the line on the top. Now I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to erase the line that's connecting the square. Alright. And from the ear, I'm going to just draw a line coming down to the side of the eye. Same thing on the other side. Just draw a line coming down to the side of the eye. And there we have our mask, or this bandana that's going over the mask. And in the back of the head, we're going to have the bandana kind of like sailing in the wind a little bit. So I'm just going to use my pencil to draw an expressionate line, sticking back, and then coming back towards my figure. Just like that. And there you have our first pirate. You guys know who that is? Might not know it. This is kind of an older movie. Okay, so there's our pirate. First pirate. Alright, this next pirate is probably not going to be as well known as the last pirate. Maybe some of you guys might know him. But, yep, once again, we are going to start our pirate by using a rounded square for the head. Okay, and I'm going to draw a line coming down for the neck and for the spine. Crossing the neck and spine, we're going to have a line coming up for the shoulder. Now notice my line is cutting through my head. This means that the shoulder is going to be behind the head, which means that we won't be able to see the shoulder going back. However, it's still important to still draw that line so that we know where the arm can connect and move around, because if you don't put the anatomy in a certain way, it's possible when you draw your arm sticking out from behind a character's body parts, either the head or body, you could mistake it and make it look very strange with the hands coming out a little bit too off. It's going to make it look a little weird if it doesn't make any sense to the proportions. Okay, so just draw that line back here and just wait. We'll erase it later, but we're going to attach all the limbs before we start moving on. Okay, so let's just continue with our stick figure here. We have our head, our shoulders, our body, and then we're going to have our hips, and our hips are going to be a little bit diagonal down, sort of. Okay, this one from the hips, our leg is coming down. This one, our leg is going to be coming forward towards us, so you're not going to really see too much of the top leg. So I'm just going to draw a small mark here saying that this is where our femur is, which is the long part of the upper thigh, the upper leg. And then from here we're going to bring it down for the shin and then the feet. Okay, moving up back towards the hands, we have an arm here, and this arm is going to be reaching back, and the elbow will be bending towards the head. Okay, so now that I have where the arm connects to the shoulder, now I'm able to erase the line that's going through the face, because now I know that this makes sense. From this shoulder, another arm is going to come out to the side, just like that, and it's going to come forward. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense right now, but you'll see what it's supposed to be in just a moment. Okay, so now that we have our stick figure, we have our head, our neck, our shoulders, upper arms, forearms, spine, hips, thigh. Can't see the rest of the leg because it's behind the thigh. Here's the thigh, but we can't see the thigh because it's behind the shin and the foot. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Okay, so now the first thing we want to do is we want to draw ovals from the knee up to the hips, so that that's going to be the legs. And this one's just going to be a circle since the thigh, one is facing down, one is pointing towards the viewer, and one is facing downwards. So you're going to see what they call foreshortening. This is what happens when you draw things that are overlapping, or they're moving towards the viewer. So if you look at my hand, it's straight, but as I slowly turn them towards the camera, it gets this really weird this strange outline, this strange contour. And those are kind of difficult positions to draw unless you draw the contour and then you work in the details afterward. Everything doesn't have to be situated where you're looking at the side of it. Okay, not everybody walks two-dimensionally. Okay, so now that we have the two thighs, I'm going to put a trapezoid below this thigh because that's the pirate's boot. We can cut it across the thigh there, or this is supposed to be the knee because that's where the leg bends. And then from here we can draw a trapezoid coming down, a skinnier trapezoid. And then for the foot we can draw another trapezoid connected to that. Keeping the shape simple so that you guys can kind of catch or understand the idea. Okay, alright. So the shoulder and the arms for this area here, we're going to make an oval going from the shoulder to the elbow. And then we are going to do an oval from the elbow to the wrist. Same for the behind the head. Remember where our shoulder went through the head? We're going to connect an oval from the shoulder to the forearm. From the elbow to the shoulder, shoulder to the elbow, and then we're going to create another oval going from the elbow to the wrist. Okay, the neck comes down on both sides. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make the waist really quick, and the waist is going to be located right above this circle, and I'm going to put a small horizontal line going above the thigh here, and this line is going to be doubled into a rectangle because this is going to represent the belt area. That's kind of messy. I'm just going to clean this up. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do that small rectangle for the tummy area. And the reason why this one is much smaller than the last picture is because it's kind of scrunched over. Like the person is like not straight, it's kind of bent over. And then from under the arm, we're going to draw a triangle, and then it goes up to the other underarm. Triangle goes up from shoulder to shoulder. And then you see the way this comes in like that? We can connect this line coming up towards the triangle, just like that. And then we can connect this line coming from that belt to the thigh. Alright, up on top of this hand, we're going to put a nice big circle. I mean like a big circle. It's going to cover part of the wrist. Then you can go ahead and take your eraser and erase the wrist that's going through your circle. Just like that. And then on the bottom of this circle here, we're going to put a small circle. Alright. Alright, for this hand we're going to put an oval, and it's going to be horizontal. And it's going to be larger than your forearm. Because when things come, like if you look at my hand, you can see the size of my hand, but as I start bringing it towards the camera, you're gonna notice that my hand, like my fingers, is starting to get like pretty large, and the closer I get it to the camera, it's gonna start looking like it's getting bigger than my forearm, because that's how things work. When they get closer, they get bigger. Things further away, they get smaller. So when you have your hand regular like this, yeah, your fingers are regular, but then when you bring them towards somebody or something, it gets bigger. So this is the hand. It's going to be bigger than the forearm. And sticking out from the side of the oval here, we're going to put a small trapezoid. Okay, so now that we have all our shapes, we're going to take our eraser, magic eraser, and take away all these lines to put the skeleton and all of our shapes together. Okay, let's continue our picture. Alright, the next step, what we're going to do is we are going to draw another loop or another curved line over his forearm. So you have this wristband. He has another wristband on this arm, so we're just going to draw another loop. Another curved line going up on this forearm, this wrist. For the line here that's coming down, we can make it continue from the forearm into the bicep, like that. Same for this arm, we can make it continue into the forearm, from the forearm into the bicep. Just like that. Alright, let's do the fingers really fast. This one's going to be the thumb. And that's going to come into the pointer finger. So the pointer finger is coming towards us. And we're going to make it curved. So we're just drawing a curved line coming into the rest of the hand. Okay, there's another one. Another curved line. And then one last curved line for the ring finger and the pinky. So there we have one hand. If you'd like to erase some of the uneven lines to separate the fingers, you can. Okay, so there we have one hand is done. This hand is here. Alright, let's move on to the face. The face. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a small rounded line. The first one we put a box on the first pirate. This one we're going to put a rounded line. Okay, and then we're going to erase the line that's going through that rounded line. It's the bottom of the chin here. And right above the chin, we're going to draw a rectangular shape. And that's going to represent the mouth. Alright. So on the bottom we're going to draw a rectangle. And on the top we're going to draw a rectangle. Those are the teeth. Right in the middle we're going to draw a line coming down. And then we're going to draw a little square in between. That square represents one of his golden teeth. Pirates have put gold in their teeth sometimes. And then we're going to put two hills inside the mouth to represent the tongue. Like that. Okay, this time instead of putting an oval, we're going to put a little triangle for the nose right above the mouth. And then on the side of our triangle, we're just going to put a couple of rounded lines for the wings of the nose. And then at the tip of our triangle, we're going to go ahead and put a rounded line. And then on the left side of the nose, we are going to put a semicircle. Nice big one. And inside that semicircle, we're going to put another semicircle for the iris, and then we're going to put a circle for the pupil, and then on the top left we're going to put a few triangles to represent the eyelashes, and then on the bottom we're going to put a few more eyelashes with the triangle shape, just like that. We are going to draw the eyebrow, and that's going to be a boomerang shape, like a triangle. And then behind that triangle we are going to draw a line coming up and over the forehead. This is going to be the bandana. And then over the other side of the bandana we're going to draw another eyebrow that's similar in shape to the first eyebrow, which is kind of like a triangle with a triangle in it. Now right below this eyebrow we're going to draw a rectangle that's coming down at an angle. And then connected to this rectangle we're going to put a couple of lines that's going to go up and over the forehead, because this is an eye patch. So there's our eye patch there. Okay, right below the bandana should be the base of his ears. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a couple of semi-ovals for earrings. Same thing on this side, only we're going to do one on the right side. We'll have two on the left side. The bandana comes up and over the head, comes back down. Erase any lines that we don't need. Okay, right below his nose we're going to put some jagged lines coming out to the side of his mouth and down the side of the mouth. That's going to be the mustache, and the mustache connects into a beard. Beard comes down to the chin, and then we're going to draw jagged lines from the sideburns here, and that's going to be the beard connecting to the goatee. And then on the outside of the face we're going to make jagged lines to pretend that he has a beard on the outside of his round head, right below the chin. Make it a little bit fuzzy. Alright. So far so good. Okay, we're going to do his hair really quick now. His hair is sticking out the bottom of his bandana. So right at the base of his bandana, we're going to do these spiky lines coming out the side, representing his hair. And it's going to come down behind his back on both sides. And he also does have some hair going to the front of his face. So we'll just put a couple of fuzzy lines coming up the side where his underarm is. Alright, so far so good. Alright, so let's do the upper garments on the upper body. From the neck, we're going to draw a triangle facing to the side and coming up into the hair. Coming from the midway from the upper arm, we're going to draw a rounded line. Midway on the upper arm, we're going to draw a rounded line on both arms. And that rounded line is going to come down slightly and go behind the arm. A little triangle on both sides. We're going to have this triangle shape coming down. I'm going to erase the line right there so it looks like a sleeve. This one we want to connect it to his underarm. We're going to erase this line too. That looks like his arm, because this is going to be a sleeve. And from the top of his sleeve, we're going to run 2 lines up his sleeve to the neck. Okay, and we're going to run 2 more up his sleeve to the neck, all the way behind his neck, because this is going to have another line coming down towards his chest. And then we're going to have 2 lines coming out the top, and 2 more lines coming out the top. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to darken in the rectangle going across his waist. Alright, so the same thing we did for the sleeves here, we're going to do the same thing for the lower garments. So this here is going to be the belt area, and it comes down, and we're going to do a little triangle towards the edge of the knee, just like that. And we're going to do another little triangle on the other side of the knee, just like that. And that's going to come up to the other leg here. And then we're going to draw a line going across the leg, just like that. And using our eraser, we're going to get rid of the lower thigh where it connects to the knee. Okay. And then we're going to draw a line from the side of the belt coming down to the side of the pant. And then across the bottom. The knee, we're going to put a little boxy line going across the bottom and then curve it up so it looks like there's muscle. Alright, and then this part's going to be a little bit tough because he's wearing shorts, so what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that the shorts are going around his thigh here. So this is the base of the shorts, and it has that design on the bottom with that line, and that's going to come down. And just like when we wear shorts, it does have slacked fabric, just like the sleeve on top here. So that's going to come down slightly on both sides. And then the leg is going to stay inside the pants. So here's going to be shadow going in. Okay. And then we have the boot coming around. The boots are going to have 2 lines coming down from the top of the trapezoid, and then we're going to put a bunch of X's. That's going to be the laces tying the boot together. Right? And then we're going to put a small rounded shape or rounded line on top of the boot so that you can see where his foot is coming forward. And then underneath his boot, we're just going to put another rectangle, and that's going to be the base of his boot. Okay. On the front of his knee, we're going to put what looks kind of like a slice of bread, and that's going to tell us that's where his knee is. Just do it really light. You don't have to push really hard, but if you look at your knees or people's knees when they're bent or standing, they have the bones that are connected. So I just like to put this kind of like strange number 8, widened number 8 kind of line. Okay, that gives the illusion that there's a knee there. Okay, so in the shirt, what I'm going to do is just add a couple of lines stretching through the clothes. just like that. And on the front of his shirt, I'm going to write a word, 2 words actually. One's a word, one's a name. I'm going to write it in cursive. If you want, you can put a highlight in his eyes. Just like that. If you want, you can go ahead and put a texture on top of this round object. It's just basically a dodgeball, and usually has these 3 lines side by side. It has 3 horizontal and 3 vertical lines. And it goes all the way up the side of the ball. And this pirate, his name is Pirate Steve. And he is one of the players on the Average Joe's team in Dodgeball. Alright, so moving on to our last picture. Our last pirate of the day. We're going to start off again with another rounded rectangle for the head. And this time the neck and the spine are going to go rounded. The shoulders are going to stick out from the corners of the cheeks here. They're going to stick out a little bit further. The hips are also going to follow the same kind of line. The upper leg, the thigh, is going to be at a small angle. On the other leg, it's going to be pretty straight. Then we have our knees. Then the other leg on the left is going to have a angled calf, shin area. And then the next leg is going to be pretty much straight down. Looking at this shoulder, the arm is going to come to a diagonal line going down right. And the elbow is going to bring the forearm back towards the hip. And then on this arm from here, the upper arm is coming down, has the elbow, and then the hand or the forearm is just coming from the elbow back up slightly. And there's our skeleton. This is how we're starting off our form, with these lines and the shape. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make the triangle for the chest. It's coming down, it's going back up to the arms. On the hips, we're just going to go ahead and put a rectangle. Like that. Legs, ovals connected from the knee to the hip. Bottom of the knees, we have those trapezoids again. Pirates are always wearing those boots that are folded over. Then from here we are going to make a rectangle or a square coming out the bottom of the right foot, the right leg, and then we're going to draw a small trapezoid connecting to that. And on the left side, we're going to do another square sticking out. And then we're going to do a triangle. Just like that. And do one more triangle. And then one last triangle. So those 3 triangles build up the foot. Here's the heel, here's the instep, and there's the toes. Alright, so the right arm, well, the arm on the right side is going to be a trapezoid coming off of the shoulder. And then it's going to become a semi-oval. So we're going to put the semi-oval up right above the, we're going to start the semi-oval right above the wrist. And it's going to come up rounded towards the elbow. Just like that. Then we're going to have a oval right on the wrist here of the arm on the left side. Connected to this oval, we're going to put a circle extending from the small oval there. And coming down from the wrist, we are going to put another oval coming down. This is going to be the clothing, yeah, so it just comes up and around and it stops inside that circle. That's good enough. And then for the neck, we're just going to put a couple lines on either side of our skeleton or stick person that we drew earlier. Okay, from here, now we can take our eraser and erase all the lines that are going through the circle. Erase the lines of our skeleton that is going through our body. We're going to keep the trapezoids on the bottom intact because that's going to be the boots. So we still need to keep that. But we can erase the lines that are inside the boots, as well as the shapes that create the bottom foot area of the boot. We can erase those. Erase this skeleton. Okay. There we go, moving along. Okay. So, let's work on this first. What we're going to do is, on the base of our circle, we're going to draw a curved line going into the center of our figure. And it's going to be right on the base of that ball we drew. And then the second line we draw is going to be a bigger rounded line to the front there, and it goes to the front of our line pointing in towards the chest of our figure. Then we're going to take our eraser and erase the circle that's going through this kind of like what does that look like, a taco shell taco shell line. Okay. Now after that, oh yeah, that's right, I'm supposed to erase this line because this is the skeleton of the wrist. We don't need that. I don't know why that looked funny. Okay, so anyway, from this side of the hat, I'm sorry, this side of the ball, we're going to finish our hat by drawing another curved line coming down to the tip of the first line we just drew. And then we're just going to go ahead and erase a little bit of the circle. Erase the shoulder that's coming through the top. And to finish up this, to create into a hat, we're just going to bring up a rounded line to creating another triangle in the back area. And that's that. Okay, so there's the hat. We're going to draw the fingers that are connected to the hat. So let's go ahead and draw a rounded line. We're going to make 3 of them. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. It kind of looks like a cat's paw a little bit. But what we want to do is we want to round out the end of the fingers to be individual fingers. So just add a little bump to each one of those. Alright. So there we have fingers reaching for the hat, holding the hat. Just like that. Right below the fingers, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of a fuzzy line. This fuzzy line is going to be the clothing along the wrist. It's fuzzy. Okay, same thing on the edge of this this clothing too. We're just going to kind of put fuzzy lines, kind of drooping down from the shirt, the wrist area of the shirt. Okay, the forearm line is going to go over the bicep, making those wrinkles. So we got a bunch of lines cutting through, and then it's going to come back up to the underarm, bringing more lines with it. And that comes down to the elbow, rounding off this line here. Now how we're looking so far. Pretty good. Okay, our shoulder on this side is done because most of the hat is covering up that upper arm area, so we're done with that. We do want to put a belt going across the waist here, and it's going to be right where this part comes in. We put a nice big belt, and I'm going to erase everything that's inside this belt because it's not necessarily a belt, it's more like a sash. The sash is going around the waist, and at the edge of our sash we're going to draw a trapezoid. Coming up into our sash here. Erasing those lines that are going through my sash, we need those. And then coming out from the bottom of this trapezoid shape, we have another line coming down. 2 lines, and then we're going to make it kind of fuzzy by putting zigzag lines. And then we're going to erase the leg going through that. Okay. Alright. So now we're going to put a belt going across the shoulder. So in order to do that, we are going to draw 2 diagonal lines coming down to the sash. Just like that. And it stops right at the top of the sash. Okay, right below the sash, we're going to actually have the rest of this belt coming down, and we're going to put a rounded line coming up and under the sash and going around the hips. And on top of this belt here, we're going to put a square. And put a square inside that square, like that. And then hanging down from the square, we're going to put a little tail or a tongue shape. It's going to hang down. This is going to be the remainder of the belt, the rest of the belt that's sticking down. It's going to come down like that. we're going to erase the bottom of the rectangle, and we're going to connect these two ovals together with a diagonal line to make it look like the pants. Okay, the pants are gonna have a little triangle that is next to where the boot comes together. So we're just gonna put a triangle on both sides of where the boot comes to the knee. And that triangle is going to be additional clothing hanging over the boot. So I'm gonna get rid of that real quick. Darken in the lines on our trapezoids for the boots. I'm going to smooth out the lines here for the boot itself. Didn't do anything special except for just kind of smooth out those hard edges, those corners. Makes it look a little bit more organic. Just kind of smooth out those lines. Don't make them so pointy. Put some lines or indentions like the cloth is folded over each other inside the sash because it's more of a material than it is leather. Okay, so now we're going to do the face. And the face is kind of tilted at an angle. So the eyes are going to be kind of back a little bit. Alright, so starting on the eye area, we're going to draw kind of like a rhombus for each eye. Okay. And above each rhombus, we're going to put some eyebrows, and these can look more like check marks. Right eyebrow check, left eyebrow check, and we have two eyebrows. Okay, for the nose, it goes in the middle from the line where the eyes are to the chin. We're just going to go ahead and put a curved line with a straight line under it, and that's the base of the nose. And right underneath the nose, we're going to put a fuzzy line, zigzag line, and then it's going to be like a trapezoid where it's skinny on the top and then wider on the bottom. And we're going to go ahead and add those fuzzy lines to the bottom of those, just like that. And underneath this, which is the mustache, we're just going to put a wide curved line like a rainbow but upside down underneath the mustache. And underneath that round line, we're going to put a little fuzzy burst like that. That's the soul patch. Now underneath the eyes here, right in the middle where the nose is, I'm going to put these diagonal lines swishing in from the side of the face. Just like that. Alright, going across the eyes, I'm going to put a rounded line from corner to corner. Both eyes. On the bottom of the eye, I'm going to trace a little bit further out from the center of the eye. And then I'm going to come back up to the corner, making my line thicker or wider as I go to that side. But when I go to the corner of the eye, I'm going to make a couple triangles, and then I'm going to bring the line back in. So I'm going to make a triangle on the side of the eye, and then bring it down to the base of the eye. And then that you can color in dark. Just like that. Okay, the eyes are going to be little circular dots. That's kind of close to the bottom of the eye. Like it's kind of looking down on a person. The nose is going to have a little V on the tip, and then it's going to come back. Up the nose is a bridge. And then you're just going to put a couple of lines on either side of the shadow to give the wings. And then using my eraser, I'm going to get rid of the cross going down the middle of the face. And I'm going across the eyes, coming into the face. Okay. Now, right next to this this line coming in, I'm going to put a bunch of circles that are connected to each other, and they're just going to be alongside the face. And then right as it leaves the side of the cheek there, you see the way that last circle is hanging off the side of the cheek? I'm just going to make one last thing look like a little fuzzy line coming off of that one last circle. Alright, so from the chin area where the hair underneath this lip is, we're going to create a wavy lock of hair coming off of the chin, and then we're going to make wavy lines on the jaw to create a texture of like a beard. Okay, and that's going to ride alongside the outline of the face, and then it's going to come up towards the hair beneath the lip, like a soul patch hair, just like that. And you can color that in too because it's dark. Okay, looks good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw across his forehead a line, because he's wearing a bandana as well. And it's going to go through the eyebrows. Since this is a cartoon, the bandana will be going through the eyebrows. And then it comes up to the sides. And then it crosses over the forehead. Just like that. Sticking out the upper left hand side, we're going to have these crooked lines, kind of make them look like French fries, sticking out the top. We are going to put a triangle next to the neck on the bottom right hand side, and that's going to come up to the cheek. And then we're going to put a V on the chest because that's the shirt being open. Put another triangle or parallelogram on the left side, and then we can erase the line that's crossing the neck, as well as the parallelograms that we just drew in the triangle. So that's the lower shirt, and then there's a small vest coming down here. The part of the waist here, I'm going to put a rounded line on either side, and then we can erase the shirt that's going through that rounded line. So now it looks like the shirt is bowing inside the sash. Okay, so the hair coming down is going to look like a bunch of French fries. So just make a bunch of wild rectangles just coming down from underneath the bandana. Yeah, don't make it coming from the top of the bandana. Just make a bunch of funny looking French fries. There we go. And you can kind of shade in the moustache, shade in the eyebrows. You can even shade in the hair. But other than that, there's our third pirate, and this is Captain Jack Sparrow. Okay, so that's it for today's RTI. Sorry this came out late, but I'm happy that the student council is continuing with some fun ideas for you guys to be working on, and scavenger hunts are great. I know the pirates would be enjoying looking for that treasure. So anyway, with that said, that's it for today. I'll see you next time.